Guys, I play a lot of Animal Company, and for the most part, I would consider myself pretty decent at the game. That may be the case for me, but I know there's a lot of new players that may have just got a new Quest 3 or a new Quest 3S for Christmas. So in this video, Cameron, I'm going to be teaching you guys the do's and don'ts of Animal Company. Like and subscribe, Cameron. Hello, and welcome back to some more Animal Company VR here on the channel. And for today's video, we have a bit of a plan to go and teach all of the newbies how to not be a noob here in Animal Company. First things first, I know many of you guys, if you're watching this video and you are new to the game, you're probably at least familiar with Gorilla Tag. So one of the most obvious things is the movement. Everything inside the game is going to be based on gorilla-style movement, where you take your arm, you smack the ground, and based on that momentum, you're going to be able to move. I would definitely suggest not doing the windmill like you innately want to do because it seems fun. It definitely can work, but it's a lot more taxing on your physical body trying to maintain that. What I strongly recommend when it comes down to movement is kind of almost doing like a dice throw. Almost think about like throwing a frisbee when you're moving in the game, and you can kind of almost like glide on the ground. So you kind of notice like how my arms are moving. I'm almost more or less making it a smooth transition to move this way and kind of dice. And then instead of just doing like one arm, I like to kind of go and mix it in between. You can even do it forward as well. It just depends on whatever is the most comfortable thing for you. But yes, this is only for memes. I definitely don't recommend doing the big old windmills. The next major thing I would definitely recommend is going and checking this little jobs board. Because if you guys don't know, this is where you're going to be able to get free coins to go and buy cosmetics. And on top of that, you can also go and claim a new skill token every single day. This is the type of stuff that will apply over to your tech tree, which lets you unlock more items that you can buy within the game. On top of that, there are weekly jobs you can go and complete too, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be leaving that for now. And now, onto the fun part. Because if you guys don't know, Animal Company is very similar to like a Gorilla Tag style Lethal Company. That's probably the best way I could explain it without just calling it Animal Company. So if you take a look, you have a watch here, which will show you your money. It will also show the amount of nuts you have in the game. And then of course your research points that I already previously mentioned in this video. What we're going to need to spend are these coins here in the green. You're likely only going to have 100. So with $100, you have to be pretty frugal with what you buy. What I would strongly recommend is grabbing a flashlight and then also a tiny little backpack. This is roughly about $80 you're going to be spending, so you're not going to have a lot of money after this. But trust me, this is definitely worth it. You're going to want this stuff. On top of that, if you want to interact with the item, you're going to want to press the top circle button on your quest, and that will go and open your bag. Anytime you want to go and dump stuff out, you just flip it upside down, kablam! And you're all good. You can scoop it right back up, throw it in the bag, and this is very, very useful in Animal Company. The same button applies to interactable items. That is also how you turn on the flashlights in your other hand, is by just pressing that top circle button. Beautiful! But for now, we're going to go and put the backpack right on our back and get ready for our journey. So first things first, if you're feeling pretty ambitious and you're pretty like comfortable with this style, you can definitely go sewers. But I would strongly recommend going to the right side. It's just a lot safer. You're definitely not going to be worried near as much with like the enemies, and it's just usually a lot easier to collect a lot of stuff. If you want to do sewers, be my guest. It's a lot more difficult. But now, guys, let's go and make our way over to the first sections here in the game. So, number one tips is you're going to want to try your best to avoid any of the enemies. There's going to be a lot of mobs around here, so don't worry about the like little chickens or turkeys that run. They're kind of more like passive mobs. So these guys, they're not going to hurt you at all. The one you have to worry about is that big man over here. I like to call him the big beast. Otherwise, other people call him ogre. There's all sorts of names. Also, another thing to consider with this video is that this will be outdated in like, what, 3 more days? Because likely the winter update's gonna change. We're gonna have different routes. These parts of the map usually change every single week, but they're pretty similar to the last ones. It's just the route that's gonna be changing. But for this video, I'm gonna try to keep it as easy as possible. So we're gonna go and run away from this ogre and pretend that he's not there, okay? Because we're gonna be going to this beautiful place that we call Armstrong Cave. I used to call it Mimic Cave, but I really don't know the true lore behind it all. But this is, I would say, probably one of the safer areas to go and check this stuff out. But the only problem is you do have to deal with this big muscle man. And he's a little bit scary. So we're going to try our best to avoid him if possible. He's likely going to go and chase us anyway. Which, speak of the devil, he's already coming! Okay, let's see if we can bring him out. I want to try to bring him out as far as possible. Nice. Okay, we can go and dodge him. And oh, he actually ran up that. Okay, no, we gotta go. We gotta go. Okay, just keep running. As long as you get far enough away from him, you should actually lose his attention, which is super nice. It looks like right now, though... Oh. We don't talk about that. Okay, you just stay right there. Pretend I'm not here. And, yep, just walk away. I think we can go right up here. Okay, sweet. So now we can actually go and start our journey for this video. So, number one wordy is going to be the chicken. Alright, he is a very aggressive boy, and he does not like friends. So you're going to be hearing him kind of yapping over in this zone. We want to try our best to go and avoid him. So instead, we're actually going to go and jump up here and hopefully find a way to get past him. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep this like super simple. Alright, so we don't have to go like crazy for loot. But what you're going to want to look for is just any types of items that you can fit inside of your backpack. When you go and steal those bad boys, you can actually go and sell this to make more money for the game. And I mean, the concept is pretty simple. You go in these caves, you find gear, you go and sell that gear to make more money. And in this case, we do have a Bananans, and that's a mimic. I don't want to look at him. So you guys may have seen another monkey that looks very similar to me. You do not want to lock eye contact with that bad boy, because unfortunately, if you do, you're going to die. Let me just go and run right to this section. I'm going to try my best to avoid you. There's a bunch of soda cans, so he was a thirsty boy. But we'll just go. Oh, nope! Speak of the devil. Okay, back away. Nope. Nope, I'm dead. I'm so dead. Goodbye, world. Goodbye, cruel world. Oh, no. This is bad. We're just going to run and get out of here. I think the mimic might still be following us, but we might be okay. You know what? Sweet. We're just going to leave with the mini amount of HP that we still have left. But now, like you guys saw, we have a random assortment of loot that we've managed to go and find. But we got to try our best to go and avoid the big ogre as well, because he's going to be waiting over in this zone, just ready to go and kill us. So we want to go and just run right past him, pretend he's not there, which is not going to work great, because he's on our tail. But now, we just want to go and run right back to the safe zone, and that backpack that we have a bunch of our loot in, we're going to go and sell this. So you'll go and jump right up here. You can either choose to go and dump out all the items, or you can also just drop the bag in if you don't want to do that. But I find it pretty satisfying to go and dump the stuff, so that's the reason why I do it. So now, all you have to do is go and smack all these buttons, and once you go and do all of this, you guys will now notice you sell all the items that you had in your last run. This time around, we only made about $160, but still, with the amount that we spent, this is really good money to get you started in the game. But now, we're gonna get to a section that's a little bit more difficult, but it has a way better payoff than what we had here. So, in order to do this, I would like to have a little bit more HP, so... Alright, so we'll grab our backpack, we will get our flashlight, and now we leave and get the heck out of here. This is where you're definitely going to need to have a flashlight. I strongly recommend it, because otherwise you're going to be struggling a ton being able to see what we're about to go and grab. So now we're going to run right past the big ogre man, and now we're welcomed into the deep dark of the cavern. So we're going to go and jump our way right down here, and you got to be very careful. It's very dark to see inside this blizzard at the moment, but you need to watch out for little lights. Okay, if you see like a little light that's kind of moving, be careful. It's the anglerfish, and she is not a very friendly foe. But also here, this is another very great example of a mob. So this is pretty self-explanatory. This is red light, green light. If you decide to move, this guy is not very happy. You can move on green, but you cannot move on the red. So I'm about to show you why you can't do that. So if you're moving on red, this man will decide to go and slice you, and it's not very nice. So now that you've seen the red light, green lights, it's definitely not fun to be around. We also have an ogre that's right next to us, which is not ideal. He's gonna chuck a rock. Oh no. Okay, let's see. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna want to go and jump deeper into this forest. You don't technically need a flashlight, but I definitely not recommend using it, because you're gonna notice here in a sec, this anglerfish is a very scary foe. And if you decide to go and light up, it will chase you to death. Luckily, if you turn it off in time, it cannot find you. It is a blind mob, but it's attracted to light somehow, so just be careful about all that stuff. And now, this is probably my favorite section of the entire game. This is the Haunted Mansion. Just look for the red light or the red arches, and you'll know exactly where you're going. But also, there's a bit of a caveat that's over here, because this is probably the scariest section of the entire game. This is the house, the home of my girlfriend. She is not a very friendly person. She used to be pretty awesome back in the past, but she's, for some reason, gone off the deep end and has gone absolute crazy off the walls. So I warn you, if you are faint of heart of horror, I do not recommend coming to the Haunted Mansion. It's a very spooky and scary place. Hello? Oh my, yep, that is exactly why I say do not come here if you're faint of heart, because it is a scary place, and I do not recommend it. Okay, so I'll give you a bit of the rundown. She will not harm you unless you keep your flashlight on her at all times. She also will not pop up if you don't have a light on. So as you guys saw, she was right here, but luckily if my light's off, she can't do anything. She is a kind of more of a passive mob by all means, unless you decide to go and flash your lights on her. Not epic. And she will give you big huggies. But now let's go and move on because there's a certain item I want to show you guys, which unfortunately is in probably one of the worst spots that it could have ever spawned here in the game. Okay, we got very unlucky with this spawn. I think it's literally inside of the eye here, which is very unlucky. So we're just going to go and run and find a different one. I was hoping to go and grab that one if possible, but it seems that we are just a little bit out of luck. Another super nice part about the game too is that the keys actually emit a lot of glow. So you can actually see this through doors that are closed, which make it super nice so you don't have to actually hunt for them all the time. Like let's say for instance, you're trying to go and find the key, right? If this is actually spawned next to a door, you'll actually be able to see the glow even if the door was closed through the wall. It makes it super nice to actually go and hunt for these if you're trying to speedrun. And now we can go and make our way all the way back to our main home. Don't worry about these guys. They're actually pretty passive too. They're not too aggressive. They just like to flicker your lights and mess with you. But now that we have this golden key, we want to go and jump our way all the way down to this secret door. You can take this key and throw it right on, and you will now be into a secret cavern here inside of the game. And this is probably one of my favorite spots of the game. You also make the most money this way. This is the low grav section here in the Haunted Mansion. I absolutely love this place. I think it's the most fun, and I really enjoy it. Number one thing I would strongly recommend is not physically grabbing these crystals, because if you do, you go flying absolutely crazy. And unfortunately, it actually swapped my hand as well. So instead of grabbing these physically, what you can do is you can just store it in your bag. And they are worth a good amount of money in the game as well. So I strongly recommend grabbing those over these red ones if you can. If you can't make it to these, don't worry. You can still go and sell the other crystals for a good amount of money. But I just strongly recommend if you can get to these blue ones, you might as well go and grab them. And also, another huge thing I got to go and throw in too is that weight is a factor. The more that you fill your bags, which I think this one only fills up to 5 if you don't have upgrades, you will get full very quick, and it makes it super hard to move, dude. Like, very, very hard. So one thing I recommend, throw it on your back, and you'll actually free up a little bit of that weight to help you with your movement again. But now we're going to go for a bit of a fancy play here. We're going to try to jump here. We'll scoop that up, and then on our way down, we'll grab another crystal. Epic. And now let's make our way all the way back down to the bottom and get our way out of here. It's going to hurt a little bit from that heart, but don't fret. You should have enough HP if you haven't got hurt up till this point. And then we just want to go and jump all the way down. Luckily for us, we also have more of these blue crystals to go and grab. So we'll just go up. Nice. Then we can drop that red one out. We don't need it. You should be able to go and find another one here. Oh, I went way too far. Uh-ohs. Yep, we're going to just fall all the way to the bottom. And now we're at the sweet section. Because if you have enough money, you can go and buy yourself this heart gun. I usually call it the ray gun. I mean, players all have different names for this thing, but this is a very useful weapon in the game. I'll talk more about that in like another video, and I'm sure if you've seen my other content, you probably know what this does. But for the most part, we're going to be running our base kit as if we only had $100. So there's plenty of ways to go about this. You can go and parkour across this, or you can just do the easy way, which I strongly recommend, which is just going and running over to where this picnic table is. If you just go and run over to here, I actually like this parkour section a lot more. It just seems easier, and it's a lot faster to go and get across everything, as long as you're pretty familiar with how the movement works. So then we just go and climb all the way up this tree, and where we want to go is right onto this little bridge. And luckily for us, we have a portal awaiting for our entry to take us back home. You just go and give yourself a good yeet. You fly your way back up, and now you are back home scot-free. You have your life, you have your goodies, everything's good. And now the best part of it all is going and selling everything that you've collected. So you just go and jump your way down, And we want to fly our way all the way over to this good old machine. And if you did this all right, especially with like the $100 that you spent with just a flashlight and also the small backpack, you're going to be able to go and drop all of your goods inside of here, which I do have an upgrade, which allows me to grab a few more items. But when you go and sell this bad boy, you are going to be making a ton of moolah for your first runs. Because right now I'm at 5,700, and that puts us all the way up to literally $10,000. Technically, I only got like 4,400, but you can keep upgrading these runs the more and more gear you get. And honestly, it just works incredibly well. Haunted Mansion is by far one of my favorite spots. I strongly recommend it. I'm not going to be going and covering sewers in this video, just for the sake of this being more catered towards like new players in the game. But yeah, with that being said, guys, that's going to be my tips and tricks of how to get started here in Animal Company. If you guys did end up enjoying this video and would like to see more content made on the game, I definitely suggest going and subscribing to the channel. But with that being said, guys, that's going to be it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, keep it toasty, my friends. Laters! I got some shells for you, boy! Oh, it's in his eye! Oh, I fixed it! I would have died!
Well, right here.
Armageddon! Yeah! Why in the heck do you not have clothes? You took my banana, and now you must suffer the consequences!